This is the movie that you guys should go see and not the Thunderbolts.
My rug!
This film is about bad men doing something really good.
This movie is about brothers coming together, taking the piss out of each other.
And then kicking everybody else's ass.
Okay, yeah. So
hello and welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis.
I'm Michael.
And we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. Michael, why are we here?
Today we are discussing The Accountant 2, starring John Bernthal and Ben Affleck.
What's the difference between dressy casual and business casual?
Both mean leave your cargo shorts and flip-flops at home.
I don't own cargo shorts. I don't own flip-flops. Anything else?
Don't wear your black suit. It makes you look like a mortician.
Does that make you nervous?
You're an escaped convict, trained by mob accountants. Your clients are drug cartels, money launderers.
Is that a yes?
Ray King has been murdered. Do you like puzzles, Mr. Wolf?
I need your help to finish the job you started. What are you doing?
Waiting for you to finish.
So you can.
Do what I need to do.
Wanted to come on here and talk about it.
Yes, this is a far superior film from the original one, in my mind. And this is the IMDb summary. Christian Wolf applies his brilliant mind and illegal methods to reconstructing the unsolved puzzle of a Treasury chief's murder. This movie is directed by Gavin O'Connor. He directed the first one. It co-stars Cynthia Adi Robertson and J.K. Simmons. This is a direct sequel to the first Accountant that came out in 2016. When we knew this movie was coming out, we did a review of it, episode 112. This is the movie that you guys should go see and not the Thunderbolts. This movie's way better, and it deserves more love than it is actually getting, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like it's struggling a little bit in the box office. Which
sucks because this is, I mean, even though it's a sequel, it's still more original than the Thunderbolts.
Well, and the first one did fairly well compared to its budget. So I guess its budget was a 44 million and it ended up coming in 80 million. Making 80 million?
89 million, yeah.
89 million?
Domestically. That's just domestically. And I think interviews with Ben Affleck, he's actually said that the first one did really good on streaming. And so they decided to kind of created a cult following. So they decided that they were going to make a sequel.
And but it just has not done very well at the box office.
Well,
so
and
hopefully it picks up a little bit more, but its audience that it's looking for might actually be more on streaming.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because it is in my mind, a far superior film from the first one.
Definitely funner.
Yes,
I would say
a lot more fun.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
This one, I felt like the action was more on point.
Yeah.
One. And then two, I felt like it didn't seem as long with the humor peppered throughout with the banter between the brothers.
Yes. Yeah. And
which us being brothers loved.
Yeah. This is a brothers movie.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
I mean, you should go to this movie with your brothers, with your friend crew, work guys. This is directly meant for a group of dudes to go watch. I mean, it has all the tropes. It's got a bar fight in it. It's got guys checking out girls, that kind of thing. I was really pleasantly surprised by this movie. And I really hope that it can find an audience. I think the mediocre reception of the first one might be affecting this because it's not exactly, when you talk about a first movie, you don't really talk about the First Accountant. And the First Accountant, I think we both liked, but I had issues with it because it was an action movie with hardly any action, and it seemed more concerned with the lifestyle of a autistic person, and it didn't really get into the action very much. My initial thought, this is way better than the first one, and it really relies heavily on the performances of Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. They're both just really good with each other. There's a lot of banter between them, brotherly banter. There's a lot of like horseplay. If you don't know from the first one, Ben Affleck's character has autism, and they're both been trained militarily. So John Bernthal is a mercenary, and Ben Affleck's character is a accountant for shady people, and he does work for them and then sometimes rats them out to the Treasury Department. So he's got a good streak, but it's not exactly, it's shady. It's really shady.
Well, they're both, and it kind of points that out. There's a part where they kidnap somebody, and the Treasury Department agent is basically like, you can't do this. And they're both like, well, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was kind of fun, but
yeah, it is fun. Your overall thoughts?
My overall thoughts are similar. I love the banter, the chemistry between the two it's actually kind of fun to go and watch interviews and see it in interviews as well.
Yeah.
They actually, it just kind of seems like they work really well together.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's performance on being autistic, I feel like was good in the first one. I think it was probably the same, if not a little bit better in this one.
Okay.
I felt like he did a really good job of kind of capturing that. It kind of comes and goes. They're trying to make a good film. And so the bar scene, I don't think that it was very coherent with his character. Because he doesn't like being around a lot of people. And it just seemed like in that environment, he probably would have not done very well. And he ends up going and, getting a girl's number, and it just, anyway. So, but that could also just mean it could have just been showing that his brother, who is more of a people person and wants to be around people, is kind of pushing him out of his comfort zone to do some of these things.
In real life, do autistic people, they probably wouldn't make that kind of leap? Or do you think that they have the capacity for growth?
Yeah, definitely have the capacity for growth. And I mean, it's shown a lot in the film, him like living alone, and he like everything's perfect and it's all like in its place, and he has to have and maybe that's part of the story, because it does kind of show that he's got everything in its place and everything perfect, and then his brother comes in and is like staying with him and he's like messing it all up.
Yeah.
And it irks him a little bit, but he kind of it does kind of seem like he pushes past that, because he wants to care for he wants to care for his brother. He wants to love his brother.
Yeah.
So I thought there were some really great scenes with John Bernthal and Ben Affleck where he asks him, like, do you not care about me as your brother? Like, why do you never, reach out to me? Why do you never contact me? And that is, I think it's pretty accurate in this character. But also I would say probably pretty common in autistic people is just, they're not going to care about the things that a lot of people care about, like calling on your birthday, like calling just to catch up. Like that's, I mean, a lot of autistic people are just not really going to want to call to catch up.
Yeah. Well, they don't go out of their comfort zone. They never get out of that. Right.
Well, and
unless forced out, maybe.
Yeah, but it's more of just that, like, why? I mean, it's just if you don't care to have conversations and just shoot the shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As
Why
John
would you
Bernthal
call?
says in the film, he's like, why did you ever just call me and just shoot the shit? And
I bet
and I
the
think
Affleck's character's like, I don't shoot the shit.
like, why I don't shoot shit? Why would you shoot shit? You know, like, and he's taking things literal.
Literally.
But I do feel like one of the good things about this film was to see a bit of a development with Ben Affleck, where he decides to try a little bit more to have a relationship with his brother.
Should we get in?
Yeah, I guess
we
we
get into
could
spoilers?
get into spoilers. Sure.
All right. Spoilers now.
I was going to say, because I was just rolling into that, throughout the film, you see John Bernthal is trying to get a dog. And Ben Affleck's character, Christian, he's like, why would you get a dog? You have to walk a dog. Are you gone a lot of the time? Like, it doesn't make sense for you. You probably need a cat anyway. And then they eventually find a cat in the film, you know, and it ends up,
it ends up being their pet. I mean, this movie is so much fun. I think the first one maybe took itself a little too seriously. This one, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It starts out with J.K. Simmons' character dying very early in the movie, and that starts a series of events. But the overall plot, the action oriented plot, isn't that necessary to this. What's really necessary to this is John Bernthal and Ben Affleck talking, bantering, kind of taking the piss out of each other, that kind of thing, and that's where it shines. I do have to point out in the very beginning, there's a scene where Ben Affleck's going to a what is it, speed dating seminar or something.
Yeah,
he's lonely and he wants to meet a woman, and that is probably one of the most hilarious parts in the movie, because they all want to meet him because he's good looking, and then he starts talking to them, and
he chases them all away.
He chases them all away. It's really, really funny scene. Especially the 45-year-old, and he says, "This says that you want to have children." He looks at her, he's like, "How old are you?" And she goes, 45. He goes, your chances are very...
Yeah, like,
because he's an accountant.
Spits off the chances
off all the
of
chances of her
being able to have kids. Oh, geez.
Oh my gosh! It's so. I mean, that scene was so funny.
What was so hilarious is that John Bernthal is going to make a phone call to someone, and you think he's making this phone call, and the way they play it off that he's making this phone call to a girl talking about like relationship stuff, but it turns out he's talking to this girl about a puppy.
Yeah,
he wants to get.
Well, it's like a shelter. He's trying to convince the shelter to give him a puppy, and it sounds like he's trying to convince a girl to come back into his life.
It's so hilarious.
Gosh.
That was great.
Yeah.
So,
so this movie's a lot, way more funny, and I think maybe because John Bernthal had a bigger hand in the process, because he's barely in the first one. He comes in the last act of the third. I mean,
he's throughout. He was actually being in the first one. He's played up to be the bad guy.
Yeah, and he ends up.
And then, as time goes on, he figures out that the guy that he's supposed to take out is his brother, and he ends up like protecting him and kind of saving him. And he mentions that he's like, "I saved your life," or something like that. In this film. But
what do you think of the action in this?
I thought the action was better.
Yes, it's way better.
Especially and this, we're in spoiler territory, so I can't. But especially the end, I felt like they had set everything up to be like the perfect action scene, which was basically all these kids are gonna be killed. We got to go save them, So it's just
And
like
it's perfect.
the perfect
Yeah, a bunch of
masculine. We gotta save these kids.
Two
And
dudes come and save
two dudes
save a bunch
come
of kids.
and shoot up a bunch of criminals that are gonna kill these kids, and they just take on the whole
Like a small army.
army. These two brothers against a small army. I thought
great.
It was perfect.
I thought it was great.
It's like,
I mean,
this is so good. You know, they're there to save these children. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Right.
Yeah,
And they're shooting them up and with their big guns. And
well, where this movie shines the most is there's like two or three really intense scenes with John Bernthal and Ben Affleck just talking about their relationship. There's the scene where they're sitting on top of the Airstream, like having a beer, and he just directly asks him, he's like, "Don't you care about me? I mean, I'm your brother. I haven't heard from you in 8 years," you know, that sort of thing. And that was really good. That's a really great scene. The other scene that stands out is the intense scene when they're interrogating the prostitutes. I think most of it's spoken in Spanish, because they're trying to find out where the prostitutes' pimp is or something like that.
Yeah, they're trying to get their hands on their pimp.
Yeah. And so there's just a lot of those really nice nuggets in this movie overall. Like you said, the very end where they start shooting up a bunch of bad guys is perfect.
I liked it when they're basically fighting and he's just like, well, fuck you. And then he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go by myself to save these kids. And then John Barenthal's like, well, I'll come with you. You know, and he gets in the truck.
Yeah, they're fighting when he's hooking up the Airstream, right?
Yeah.
He's like, why do you care about this?
Hooking up the Airstream. Yeah, because I think John Bernthal was trying to talk him out of it. Well,
because John Bernthal is, they established very early on that he's a mercenary for money. And there's these really great, this really great moment where he's talking to this woman and she's like scared of him. And he's just trying to have a conversation with her at a table. And then you realize after he stands up and walks,
that was the best.
Walks out of this high-rise apartment.
Best. I laughed.
There's
so
4 or 5 guys that are dead all around.
They're all dead. He's
just
trying to talk to this woman, and she is so scared
of him.
And you think. I was thinking it was a prostitute, and he was trying to talk to this prostitute, and she was just nervous. That's what it plays it up to be. But then he gets up, and all these dead bodies are everywhere.
And he walks out of the apartment.
And you're like, oh, that's why.
Why this woman's freaked out by him.
She's like, please don't hurt me.
And he's like, I'm not going to do anything to you. I didn't come here to do anything to you. Yeah, it definitely had some great moments. It's unfortunate that it's not doing better at the box office because it really deserves to do better. I mean, I was really hoping that it would be kind of like, the Beekeeper, kind of like this hit that nobody saw coming. That's kind of underdog. It was kind of an underdog, and I don't know if they did a lot of marketing. Ben Affleck's been on a lot of podcasts. He's been talking it up because he's trying to promote this movie. He produced this movie, so I don't know if this is true. Did you hear this, that he has an autistic kid, and that's one of the reasons he started doing this?
I had not heard that. No.
Okay, I don't even know if it's true, but I had heard that, so.
I don't even know the guy, to be honest with you.
Just rumors?
Just rumors. Nothing happened with me. I only fight real fighters.
I was hoping after watching this, I was like, okay, cool. I think I'll look forward to the third one because it just seemed like maybe that would be
a thing.
The next thing. Not that this leaves open anything that
needs resolved.
Really
that's it doesn't need unresolved.
But it did seem like it could roll into a third one.
Yeah.
And I'd be there for that if they did, but if it doesn't do better, it probably won't happen.
Well, and it might be like the first one, it might actually do really well on streaming, and they might just go, well, maybe we'll just make it again for streaming. So make another one for streaming. So
maybe.
I don't know, that's kind of to be left, up in the air. But with the crop of movies coming out, it deserves better. We as audiences need to go to movies that deserve to have sequels, that deserve to make more money. The crap that we keep getting pumped out at us it's not acceptable anymore.
What a piece of junk.
So there's like this underlining meaning to this, I think, and I might be reading too much into this, but the bad man that does good, because it's kind of well established that both John Bernthal and Ben Affleck are kind of shady characters. They're mercenaries. They kill people pretty regularly, and they have the
anti-heroes. Yeah, so they'll kill people.
It goes back to this whole idea that they're bad men and they're being employed or asked to do something good. And John Bernthal's a lot less okay with it. He's like, he kind of begrudgingly helps out his brother to save these kids, right? I'm just trying to think of like the whole idea of the bad man that gets like asked to do good kind of thing. What do you think?
A deeper philosophy in this film. And I would say there's a couple things. Now, one is they're both on the verge of being bad men, right? They're right on the cusp there of being bad men. Okay. But then they're called to something greater. They're called to protect to go find this one child. And eventually that leads them to protect a slew of children. I mean, we talked Jordan Peterson a lot on this. Jordan Peterson points out that Moses, before he is called to free the children of Israel, murders a Egyptian.
Yeah.
You could kind of play it off. You can kind of say, well, maybe it was self-defense. It's pretty obvious that it was probably premeditated murder. Yeah. Now, that being said, is like you have this story of these two brothers coming together
who have murdered, who
have murdered.
Yeah.
It's obvious that, and maybe a little less on Ben Affleck's character, but it's obvious that these two are completely fine with crossing that boundary. As you see through the film, they're willing to take their monstrosity. They're willing to take their aggression and put it towards
and the monster within, to put it towards something good. And this is kind of this is kind of what men are struggling with right now. And you and I have said this before on the show. You should be able to, as a man, you should be able to cut a throat and hold a baby and take care of a baby in the same day. And that's kind of the philosophy that these guys have, is they're going to do something good, even though they have been bad in the past. And that's kind of the Moses story is, in order for him to be the leader he needed to be, he needed to probably have that monster.
A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control.
To be capable of doing something horrific in order to do something good.
Have that monster within, and then answer the call.
Yeah.
In the story of Moses, he's called, and a lot of times in film, the call is wrapped up in a female,
or children, because it's a really good way to do it. Yeah.
The treasury agent is calling them to do something
about this.
Right. So it's in a sense, and in the Lion King, Nala comes and she calls Simba to come back and be the king that he needs to be.
Yeah. These stories are kind of lost now. We don't get these stories very often. there's too much of a focus on the agenda.
Me no get an agenda.
I'm sorry?
I didn't get any agenda.
And these stories resonate with men. That's why you and I probably liked it so much, right? And
Yeah.
The Lion King. We both love The Lion King, and just things like that kind of inspire you to become the better person.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, the truth is we're probably reading a little bit too much into this movie, but that's kind of the underlining theme of this movie, I would say. Bad men who are doing something good. Because we all, I guess, have the capability of doing those things. It's comes down to choice. We have to choose to do good.
Well, and I'd say this is why men like this kind of thing in their entertainment, is because there's not really a lot of monsters out there for us to go fight.
Yeah,
so we like it in our entertainment.
Yeah.
Why is that such a crime? Whatever, toxic masculinity in too many movies, the lead is a male and blah, 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 whatever. That's why. I mean, then want to go see films where the bad man.
Badasses kick ass, and they do it in the name of something good.
Yeah. Kick ass and chew bubble gum, and then they're all out of bubble gum.
Yeah.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble gum.
Get out there and see it, guys. I mean, seriously, it's a good movie. Audience, check us out on social media, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just look for The Sword in the Skull.
If you liked this, you are the audience we are looking for.
In the meantime, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more. We'll see you, brother.
See ya.
There you go, son. Now get out of here. You're bothering me.